Hey guys, welcome back. I'm almost done with the Parallax speakers. I wanted to just give you a quick update on what's going on with them. You can see even from the sleeper outside, they look a little different. So what's going on? Well, number one, I 3D printed some new speaker stands. You see them down there. Let me go ahead and take them off so you can get a closer look at them. Here you can see I put some foam on them just to stop the vibrations. There's foam on the bottom too, but they're just really just kind of printed wedges. And they point, I think that might be about a 10-degree angle or so, probably a little less, but you can tell it's just enough. Let me look at the other one over here to point them upward to get those tweeters up in the air. As we move around to the back, I went ahead and I showed you those plates I made for the banana plug jacks, I'll call it, to seal up. There was a lot of air coming through there. So I went ahead and made these plates, TPU gaskets. This banana plug terminal plate I bought already had a gasket on it. So I just ran some screws through the back. I didn't have the right size, so I had to use these longer ones. So that may be fixed later, but then I screwed this right into the back of the particle board there, the particle board back, and held them in place. So just a quick upgrade, sealed that up, and got rid of that airflow. Now, since these are acoustic suspension speakers, getting rid of that leaky airflow problems is kind of important. I still have a few updates to do on these, but we'll get to that in a bit. One of the other updates I did is I put some foam in between all the drivers now, and that includes these L-pad plates. So this one, it was more of a self-sealing caulk that I used. It's almost like a rope caulk. It came from Parts Express from an old kit I had. So I did that on the woofer to stop the sounds. Or sorry, to stop the leaks. Also, I did 3D printed gaskets. I think I did some videos about that. You can go back and look. You can't see this one. This one's hidden perfectly. This one you can see a little bit because my cutout was bigger than my mid-range there. And what I did is I hot glued those in. I put a lot of hot glue in there to kind of make them one with the baffle, the particle board baffle. And then I screwed down my my drivers into those, and that really seems to be working well. It brings them out to where I want them, because the cutouts, if you remember, were way too deep, and the tweeter was really set back in, the mid was set back in, just not what I wanted on that. Also did a 3D printed, what do you want to call it? I always screw that up, but just a little bushing to bring this out. Now this one is out a little bit too far, so I may adjust that, because once I put the foam on this to seal it all up, it stuck out a little too far. So I may play with that a little more. That's not video worthy, but yeah, as I perfect these, I'll call it, just iterate on them. That's probably one thing I might change. Now for the big changes. I bought the Parts Express aluminum dome mid-range, the reference series, and wow, what a difference. I might do a separate video on this. I'm not sure yet. It is a beautiful sounding driver. Very beautiful, very detailed. I did wire back the L-pads in. I soldered everything back in. I think I have pictures I can overlay of some of that. And I can tune these. Where I messed up is when I flipped them around, I got them backwards. So when you go all the way to decrease, it's actually increase, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that can be adjusted later if that really irritates me, but these are my speakers, so I'm gonna live with it for now. And then this tweeter I've been talking about for a while. One of my favorite tweeters, Parts Express Silk Dome, 1 1/8 inch tweeter. The detail I get from these is absolutely amazing. It is just very, very easy on the ears, and I really like them. I'd love to hear if you've had experience with these two types of drivers. Let me know. I know some people don't like this one because the dome is a little sticky, and it attracts dust. yeah, that doesn't really bother me that much. Most of the time these will sit with the grills on, and the dust usually gets on the grills. I'm sure I'm going to get dust on this tweeter, but um, I don't really care. I have a picture to throw in on this one too, but inside it's completely different. I went ahead and purchased the pre-made Parts Express three-way crossover, 12 decibel crossover, so second order. It has a true bandpass filter that goes from, I want to say it was 800 maybe to 5,000 for the mid, and then we're going 5,000 up on the tweeter, and then 0 to 800. You know, we can't hear those sounds very well, but the 0 side I'll call it. But that's what the woofer's handling now. I haven't tested these yet. I might do one more testing video. I'm probably going to do more review videos on those two drivers too. I got another project plan I'll show you later, but yeah, it's really good. And maybe eventually I'll replace this woofer. I mean, I'm still getting decent bass sounds from it, and it is acoustic suspension, so you know, I think I'm going to leave it for now. Now, what I could do to this is go ahead and mount more screws to hold it in. Once I'm satisfied, I'm not going to take it apart anymore. But there is one more update coming, and that is I'm going to fill the inside with some polyfill and adjust to see how my sound changes. So I'll probably do a video on that, just experimental wise. Now, if you didn't see my other video about voice coil rubbing, check that out, because the other speaker, the one over there, I was getting voice coil rubbing on, and I fixed it, at least temporarily, by rotating the woofer 180 degrees and let gravity do its work and move it back down. So if you don't know what the rubbing is, it's like a scratching sound it makes, and there's a gap. These are the wire leads to the voice coil, and there's a gap in the voice coil, and I want to call it the pull piece. I'm not really sure. I have to reference my book to get the exact term, but that gap gravity starts to move that gap, because these are suspended by these foam surrounds. These are actually cloth, and it will rub like there. How's that? But that's pretty much what it sounds like. So I rotate the woofer, let gravity do the work, and then my gap can go back in, and I have no more scratching. Let me show you what that looks like on the other side. Real quick, most of these come from the factory with these wire leads down that go to the terminals. At least everyone I've seen. You guys tell me if you see different. So when I rotate it, these wire terminals will be facing upwards. So here I am on the other side, and you can see those terminals are upwards. Allows that gap to kind of float down, let gravity do its work, and it sounds much, much better. No scratching. No scratching on those deep bass tones. You know, I could play Dazed and Confused and hear, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? As one of my tests for my deep woofer sounds. Well, anyway, guys, that's what I've changed so far. I think I'm going to do a couple review videos on these eventually, probably down the road, but this might be the last one, minus the test. I'll probably do some fill, one more test using these new drivers, and maybe wrap this project up, because I do have another one on the way, and let me show you. I'm out here in the office where I can make my messes, and look at that. I got me some monkey coffins at the thrift store, and these are the cheapo monkey coffins from probably 80s or 90s, late 80s or 90s. These were JVC model, 12-inch woofer, ported, mid, tweeter, super, super cheap drivers. The mid was actually blown in one of these. So I've got some plans for these, and we're going to document that in a separate series. It should be fun. There's your little sneak peek. Let me show you up top what we got here. We're going to try a few things here. This was the original crossover out of the terminal. We'll get into that later, though. Okay, guys, well, that's the end of this one. Like I said, probably a couple more videos, but really sporadic coming on these from now on. I'm just going to listen to these and enjoy them for the most part. I really want to do a video about David Weems and kind of the inspiration he's provided since I was a very young boy about speakers and, you know, how we can just kind of enjoy them. So a little existential video coming maybe about that. We'll see. What do you guys think? You want that? You don't want that? Do you just want the nerd stuff? Let me know. But yeah, I love these things. Listen to them often. And let me know more of what you want to see on these. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.